Hey, back with the Black Skimmers again. Unlike the chick that I did the last one of these real-time edits, today I have an adult, and he's hanging out in some backlight here. So a little nice rim light with a big old fish. So I thought this was a pretty cool one to work with. So start out with a crop here. I clip the tail, so I'll make it purposeful and just kind of offset the composition. I do like the fun bokeh down here, so I'll leave some of that in there. Just use the white balance tool right on the bird. Actually don't like that, so we'll manually do this. We're gonna go a lot warmer with it. There we go, really get that glow. Exposure up, shadows up, blacks back down. I want to make sure I see that eye. It's getting a little green now, so I'll just shift towards the magenta side. Graduated filter on the bottom, darkens the bottom, gives me a little bit more tone there, and I'll do a real soft one up top. Not quite as heavy, but there we go. Something like that seems like a good starting point. I definitely want more richness in the blacks here, but I'll do that in Photoshop. So at this point, I'm just going to hop right over to Photoshop and get working on it there. I don't see anything that really needs cloning or removal. I mean, maybe this one back there, but I think we can get away with just darkening that to just make it a little bit less obnoxious back there, because I don't mind the shape, the bokeh. It was just a little bright and kind of attention grabbing for me. Same thing with this one, right? I really like that it's there, but these kind of bright spots just pull my attention away from the bird here. I'll darken the bottom just a little bit more there, and maybe a quick pass across the top and on the right side to just kind of naturally vignette into the bird. The bird itself has got a ton of lens flare and it's kind of washed out, so another curves adjustment layer darkening the blacks will allow me to paint that right on here. And look at that, just bring that contrast and actually turn it into a black skimmer, not a gray orange skimmer like the wings were originally there. This is the tough part about shooting with lens flare, shooting into the sun, is a lot of times you do get these kind of wash over the image, and so you have to kind of manage that, but it's usually quite manageable and not too difficult to deal with. I think even the bill could use some of that on the front there. So I'm just going to try and do this one kind of quick. The front of the eye, front of the head there is looking good. I mean, it's just kind of a wash over a lot of this, so I'll just kind of darken it down. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if I could just do a wash or remove some of that kind of lens flare wash over the entire image, and yeah, that's pretty good. But then we'll just brighten it up to maintain contrast. Excellent. Overall, I'm getting a little bit of green on the bird here, so I'm just going to paint in some real subtle magenta onto the bird, and maybe just a little bit in through here, something like that. I'm going to use a dodge layer to enhance the real subtle catch light in the bird's eye there. So that was way too much, so now I'm going to paint with black to get rid of it a little bit and just kind of soften it back out. There we go. So that should be nice and subtle. Yeah, look at that. Real subtle, but helps bring attention into the eye there. I'm going to use that same layer and just kind of exaggerate some of the rim light here. Just kind of enhance that. I don't think it needs a ton. We could make the fish stand out a little bit more here. We're getting some glow through the body of it and into the tail, but something like that's good. And again, I think I could use a little bit more contrast just in this general vicinity around the head here. So I'm just going to kind of softly paint it in. And I'm actually going to change the blending mode on that layer to luminosity, so I only change the contrast and not the color. And there we go, right? So I could get real precise. Oops, zoomed the wrong way. Maybe let's try it on the front of the bill here, right? So watch this. Because it's really washing out there. So let's get a little bit more precise. And just darken the whole bill there. Same thing on this side. Just kind of mask around the fish there. So cool when you can see the ridges in the bill. So we'll just go right around the white edge here. Let's do the entire bill, including the top portion of it. And then I will go back in after this and kind of soften it up and make it look a little bit more natural. Because right now it's probably going to be a little bit too oddly dark. See that? it just doesn't fit in, okay? But the front of it is okay. So now I'm going to get a big soft brush with some lighter opacity and just kind of remove some of that effect, right? So now I just kind of faded that in. Check that out, right? A lot more natural and definitely gives me the effect I want, really draws the attention right into there. That's going to be it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'll go back to Lightroom and compare the before and after so we can see the difference. It should be pretty significant on this circumstance because of how much lens flare we had. So obviously contrast and color going to be a huge difference here from one to the other, but it looks a lot better, a lot more rich and vivid, and way less washed out than it did in the original shot there. So that's the final edit there. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you are interested in learning a little bit more with me and finding out exactly how to do all of this, a great way to do that is my remote training sessions, which we connect online and kind of walk you through editing your own photos and answer any questions you may have. Just go to rayhennessy.com, check out the workshops menu, online workshops, and then jump into the remote training session for info on that. I also have mentorships available to work with me on more of an ongoing basis, which has been a lot of fun. I've been working with a lot of people that way too. So have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this edit and learned something.